According to a recent post on the Chrisley USA Instagram, Todd Chrisley aspires to be memorialized in the Smithsonian. This post comes just days ahead of the premiere of the newest season of Chrisley Knows Best and Growing Up Chrisley. Keep reading to find out more about Todd Chrisley and some of his accomplishments. So there isn't much context in the recent Chrisley USA Instagram post that shares a Todd Chrisley quote. According to the post, Todd says, "You know, one of my organs ought to go to the Smithsonian." Many fans in the comment section mirror the same sentiment. There's never a dull moment when Todd Chrisley is around. Notably, being memorialized at the Smithsonian isn't Todd Chrisley's only aspiration. On a recent episode of Chrisley Confessions, Todd shares that he wants to be a male Martha Stewart. During the podcast, he shares that once upon a time he was in the design business. "I was in design for 15 years and worked with some very high-profile clients." Not only that, but it's no secret that Todd loves all things beautiful. Next, he lets his fans know that he's releasing a lifestyle brand. Unfortunately, fans have a little bit of time before they'll see things from Todd's lifestyle brand on shelves. During the podcast, he says that he hopes by 2022 he'll have things in stores. When it comes to Chrisley USA followers' responses, the reviews are definitely mixed. Many loyal Chrisley Knows Best fans think this is comical content. One fan writes, "You are so funny. Never a dull moment with you." However, other followers find this content to be insensitive. An example of this begins with an eye roll emoji. The comment reads as follows: "What do you think about Todd Chrisley and his comment about the Smithsonian?" Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Come back to TV shows Ace for more Chrisley Knows Best and Growing Up Chrisley news. Todd Chrisley has always been a man of ambition, flair, and faith, a combination that built him into one of reality television's most polarizing figures. Known for his razor-sharp wit, his unapologetic Southern charm, and his relentless obsession with control, Todd has often described himself as a man who turned chaos into class. Yet now, as the public image he once polished with gold trim begins to tarnish under the weight of time and scandal, a new dream rises from his reflective mind. A dream to be memorialized in the Smithsonian. What may sound like another one of Todd's over-the-top ambitions hides something deeper, a desire for legacy, redemption, and reinvention. For a man who once curated his life like an art gallery, the idea of being remembered by history's most prestigious institution is the ultimate masterpiece. The evolution of a public persona from the glossy floors of his Georgia mansion to the cameras that documented every smirk, Todd Chrisley has spent years mastering the art of spectacle. Chrisley Knows Best wasn't merely a reality show. It was Todd's version of immortality, a living portrait of a family navigating wealth, morality, and modern fame. He knew the camera better than most actors, understanding that television wasn't about reality. It was about rhythm, timing, and narrative control. But every story needs conflict. Behind his monologues and luxury interiors, the Chrisley empire began to crumble under the strain of financial and legal troubles. Suddenly, the man who had defined himself as the perfectionist patriarch was forced to confront the imperfections he'd hidden behind curated living rooms and designer suits. Still, Todd never saw himself as a villain. In his mind, every great American tale involves a fall, followed by resurrection. And now, in the quiet corners of reflection, he imagines his life not as a scandal, but as a symbol of reinvention. Something worthy of the Smithsonian's marble halls. The vision of immortality for Todd, being memorialized in the Smithsonian, is not about ego alone. It's about symbolism. To him, the Smithsonian represents the American journey, a collection of triumphs and tragedies, artistry and audacity. If others could be honored for innovation, invention, or influence, why not someone who mastered the machinery of modern fame? He envisions an exhibit titled "The Art of the American Personality," Behind glass, there would be a perfectly tailored suit from his show days, a family portrait glimmering with TV gloss, and a loop of Chrisley Knows best clips that capture his signature humor. But the real centerpiece wouldn't be the glamour. It would be the paradox, the rise, the fall, and the lesson. In his dream, the display would include his handwritten notes, reminders to his children, lists of daily affirmations, verses of faith scribbled beside business ideas. Visitors wouldn't see Todd as a celebrity who fell from grace, but as a modern artifact, a study of the human need for validation, legacy, and love in the era of reality television. American Redemption. Todd's vision aligns with a uniquely American truth. The country loves a comeback story. The narrative of downfall and redemption runs through the nation's veins, from Hollywood icons to business titans. And Todd, ever the storyteller, understands that redemption requires more than repentance. It requires narrative control. To be immortalized, he knows he must redefine his identity, not as a man of wealth, but as a man of influence. His words now turn reflective rather than commanding. His faith, once a prop for presentation, becomes a personal refuge. The once sparkling persona begins to give way to something rawer, humility. Inside his journal, he sketches what he calls the Smithsonian Dream Plan. He writes about a legacy rooted in the lessons of imperfection, a message for families, creators, and believers who chase perfection in a digital world that rewards performance over authenticity. He imagines young visitors walking through his exhibit and reading the plaque Todd Chrisley, a reflection of the American pursuit of perfection, and the grace that follows when it fails. That, he believes, would be his true immortality. Between pride and perspective, of course, Todd's aspirations are not without irony. Many would see the dream as yet another performance, an act of vanity dressed in velvet introspection. But that's the duality that defines him, pride wrapped around pain. He has always lived between extremes, public laughter and private loneliness, wealth and ruin, praise and ridicule. To be in the Smithsonian would not erase his flaws. It would display them. And perhaps that's precisely what he wants. For years, Todd's empire was built on the illusion of perfection. Now, his pursuit of legacy embraces imperfection as art. The Smithsonian isn't about saints, it's about stories. Airplanes and protest signs, poems and spacecraft. Artifacts that tell the tale of human aspiration. In that sense, Todd Chrisley's life fits right in, a saga of ambition, family, collapse, and faith. Reflections from isolation. The quiet of his current existence offers him something fame never could: time. Away from cameras, away from applause, Todd has begun to write. He pens reflections not for ratings but for revelation. Pages filled with gratitude, confessions, humor, and regret, all merging into the tapestry of a man redefining what legacy means. He writes about his family, how love has both lifted and tested him. He writes about control, how his need to manage everything eventually became his undoing. And he writes about grace, the unseen force that continues to reshape his story even when the world stops watching. These writings, he imagines, could become part of the Smithsonian's American Reflection series, journals from figures who shaped or symbolized eras of culture. The thought comforts him, the idea that his words could inspire someone to look inward, to embrace imperfection, to rebuild. The cultural artifact. Todd's television empire represents a specific chapter in American entertainment, a period when reality TV blurred the lines between truth and theater. Chrisley Knows Best wasn't just a show. It was a reflection of how audiences began consuming identity as entertainment. In this sense, Todd sees himself not just as a character, but as a cultural artifact, a man who both shaped and was shaped by the screen. His voiceovers, his comedic timing, his meticulous household routines, all became symbols of the curated modern life. If the Smithsonian preserves pop culture relics like Fonzie's jacket or Archie Bunker's chair, then why not a slice of the Chrisley world? perhaps a replica of his marble kitchen island, a digital replay of his iconic one-liners, or even the golden frame of the Chrisley family portrait.